Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about the video game industry. We're going to talk about the Hollywood strikes. We're going to talk about Volition getting shut down. They're the ones who made Saints Row. Yeah, they got shut down. We're going to talk about a couple of different video game related topics in this video. So hang tight before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfishtv.com for more objective pop culture news. Yeah, I about fell out of my chair. Geeky Sparkle sent this to me. So she's here in spirit, even if she's not in this video, right? SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Guild, the Actors Union, which is on strike right now, is talking about how there could be a potential video game industry strike too. So not only do we have actors on strike, we have Hollywood writers on strike. We had the directors on strike, but they got that worked out. Now we're talking that the video game industry could go on strike. And, you know, they're probably doing it because people are playing more games now. They're not watching movies. They're not watching TV shows. They're not making new stuff. So they're going to come after video games. So this is coming from comicbook.com. SAG-AFTRA, the guild that hundreds of thousands of actors belong to, is preparing for a potential video game industry strike. Earlier this year, the Writers Guild of America went on strike after being unable to negotiate terms for better paying conditions with the studios. We talked about that. Studios made them a counteroffer they did not like. They gave them like 85% of what they're looking for, but they wanted to have this minimum requirement in the writer's room, and that just was not going to work. But they were offered like $11,000 to $14,000 a year. I mean, come on. The writers have been on strike since the start of May. It looks totally unclear as to when the strike may be resolved. In July, SAG-AFTRA, that's the Actors Union, went on strike. With that said, it looks like the video game industry could be next. SAG-AFTRA's board has voted unanimously to send out strike authorizations from its members for the video game industry. This means members would vote on whether they would want to strike or not, should negotiations with the video game industry fall through. Notable companies that would be struck include Insomniac Games, Warner Brothers, Disney, Activision, EA, Epic Games, and Take-Two Interactive. SAG-AFTRA is seeking better wages, protections against AI, and better working conditions such as vocal stress protections. Vocal stress protection for those in the gaming industry. Negotiations with the aforementioned companies will start on September 26th. So the chance of a gaming industry strike will start to become more of a possibility by the end of the month. This is their notice. The SAG-AFTRA National Board has voted unanimously to send a strike authorization vote to SAG-AFTRA members in preparation of the union's forthcoming bargaining dates with signatory video game companies. Activision, Blindlight, how many companies are there? Let's go see. See who they're striking. Disney, EA, Epic, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac, Take-Two, VoiceWorks, WB Games. Okay. Here we go again. Now our interactive agreement is a stalemate too. Once again, we're facing employer greed and disrespect. Once again, artificial intelligence is putting our members in jeopardy of reducing their opportunity to work. And once again, SAG-AFTRA is standing up to tyranny on behalf of its members. Remember how the Bayonetta thing went? I'm just saying. Everybody's replaceable. Fran Drescher is going after the video game industry. I don't think Fran Drescher is much of a gamer. I could be wrong. She doesn't strike me as being much of a gamer. The overlap of these two SAG-AFTRA contracts is no coincidence, but rather a predictable issue impacting our industry as well as others. The disease of greed is spreading like wildfire, ready to burn workers out of their livelihoods and humans out of their usefulness. These are Hollywood people getting paid a lot more money than the average blue-collar worker who was displaced 10 or 15 years ago and was told to learn to code. Just saying. The voice and performance capture artists who bring video game characters to life deserve a contract that reflects the value they bring to the multi-billion-dollar gaming industry. Get a better agent. Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's going to go well because I'm going to be honest. And we saw with the Bayonetta situation, we saw whatever went down with Charles Martinet. Maybe he saw this coming. who knows? That video game voice actors, unfortunately, are relatively easy to replace, in a lot of cases easier to replace than other voice actors for cartoon shows or animated films or whatever. Because a lot of times it's about the game itself, and the voice acting is nice, but it's not really a deal breaker for a lot of people. Voice and performance capture AI are already among the most advanced uses of AI. The threat is here and it's real. Without contractual protections, the employers are asking performers to unknowingly participate. Well, that's the thing. If it's unknowingly, if they sneak it into a contract, that's not cool. But what if you want to sell your voice? What if you're like, hey, I want to be Mario forever. I want to be Bayonetta forever. You pay me and pay me royalties, and you can use my voice forever. And when I'm 75 years old, I'm still going to sound like I'm 35 years old forever. Video games that could be impacted by the strike: Grand Theft Auto 6, which was supposed to come out soonish, Call of Duty, Wonder Woman, Wolverine, and many others. SAG-AFTRA had a video game industry strike before. In 2016, a strike against 11 video game publishers was initiated. It lasted 340 days and was the longest strike in the history of SAG-AFTRA. I don't remember that. Nobody talks about that one. They'll all talk about the writer's strike. Nobody talks about the video game strike. The union asked for residuals for video game projects. The studios pushed back against this request as they deemed it trivializing of the work of the developers themselves. Although they eventually came to a conclusion, they were not able to secure residuals, but instead got the studios to agree to a sliding pay scale and other changes. So that's coming. But we have this now too. Volition has officially shut down. Thanks, Saints Row and Embracer Group, coming from Mike Phelan on ClownfishTV.com. That's ClownfishTV.com. The studio behind Descent, Red Faction, and Saints Row is officially dead. The shutdown notice was posted on LinkedIn. The post, which was met with a mix of sympathy and criticism, states the following: the Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for fans around the globe for 30 years. 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always worked to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. Basically, we want games that sell. Can you give us some games that sell? Because Saints Row didn't sell. The new one didn't sell. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision, was it really that difficult, to close Volition effective immediately. So it's just like, boom, you're done. To help our team, we're working to provide job assistance and smooth the transition for our Volition family members. We thank our customers and fans around the world. You'll always be in our hearts. It's doubtful many will be surprised. The reboot of the company's most famous franchise, that would be Saints Row, was met with loads of criticism and poor sales numbers. The reboot decided to move away from the adult themes and anything goes attitude. Instead, the new Saints focused on topics like student loans and ditched the inner city gang aesthetic from the previous games. It was basically The Sims. It was like a Tumblr game. The attempts to make the typically raunchy game grow up were met with backlash. This resulted in the Saints Row Twitter account being defiant when people questioned the new direction. They said, you guys used to be a GTA clone. I defended you. And now you're just nothing. I wasted my time. We're not backing down on this game. We get it. We get it. It's new and it's a shock reaction to a reboot like no other. The GIF was supposed to convey that. Saints Row has always been diverse from the start, and our art style is faithful to our previous games. This guy said, you really think what you said? This is literally the opposite. You talking like there's not been backlash. I think you'll regret this. You'll regret this. This is what they said. We talk a lot about the previous Saints Row games. We're very proud of them, says Jim Boone, Chief Creative Officer at Volition. We love those games. We also recognize that those are games of a time. They made sense within that era. We were able to do things that felt good back then. But that tone is not something we feel we even want to do today. We want to make Saints Row for today's diverse Sims players, Tumblr gamers. Is Tumblr still a thing? Well, Saints Row isn't a thing. Twitter's not even a thing anymore. Yeah, Saints Row may have cost the developer $100 million. Pretty easy decision to pull the plug on this. And I have to wonder, if strikes are coming, how many other games are going to get the plugs pulled on them as well? I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I myself, play more indie games than anything else. I play very few AAA titles anymore. I might check out Baldur's Gate. I have no interest in Starfield. We might talk about that one tomorrow. I actually am looking at No Man's Sky. I haven't played that one in years. And the new update looks really, really good. And I'm thinking, man, I might actually play that. I might play that instead of Starfield. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.